Actor and comedian Pete Davidson has been very open about his struggles and his past. Want to know more about his childhood, his time in rehab, and more? Keep watching. Pete Davidson's life changed forever when his dad, Scott, a firefighter with the FDNY's Ladder 118, died in the September 11, 2001 terrorist attacks. Pete was 7 years old at the time and felt the absence of his father as he got older. However, in true Davidson fashion, he often uses the tragedy as a punchline. Luckily, those who knew Scott said he was a big fan of stand-up comedy, so hopefully he would have laughed with his son.
And I have a lot of jokes about it, and if you don't like the first one, you probably won't like the rest.
Davidson went on to say he is lucky his dad died when he was young because it would have been harder for him to process as an adult.
Like, I remember my dad died, and my mom was like, "Your dad's dead, but we got you a PlayStation 2. And I was like, yeah, cool. I was like, that seems about even.
He also paid respect to his dad in his semi-autobiographical movie, The King of Staten Island. Davidson plays a tattoo artist named after his dad, who is dealing with the loss of his father and trying to keep his cool after his mom starts dating again. Pete Davidson has never been one to shy away from talking about his mental health. In fact, he often uses Weekend Update as a platform to share stories and, of course, jokes about his struggles. In 2017, he suggested the importance of seeking medical help and maintaining a healthy lifestyle, before handling it Pete style.
If you're in the cast of a late-night comedy show, it might help if they, do more of your sketches.
In 2020, Davidson told Charlamagne the God that he still can't shake the feeling, but does have better coping skills than he once did. "I'm always depressed all the time. I wake up depressed, but now I know my steps. I have to go outside and be in sun for a little bit, or go for a walk. It's all just programming yourself to trick your brain." Pete Davidson's anxiety, depression, and drug use has led to multiple trips to rehab for the young comedian. He told Variety, "I've been in and out of mental health facilities since I was 9. I tried to drown myself in the pool when I was in the 4th or 5th grade. I was trying to get my head stuck in the ladder in the deep end so I would not be able to get up." His mom, Amy, said she tried to help her son through his days by bribing him with going to New York City to do stand-up. She said, "We had a deal. That's how we made it through high school. He is one of the strongest and bravest people I know." Davidson's struggles continued in 2018 when he posted a concerning letter on Instagram, writing that he didn't want to be on this earth anymore, then deleting his account. This came after he and Ariana Grande broke off their engagement, and many outlets blamed the intense microscope he was under for reaching this breaking point. Davidson's bestie, Machine Gun Kelly, rushed to be by his side when he saw the post. Grande reportedly tried to meet up with him too, but Davidson did not want to see her. Pete Davidson was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, an inflammatory bowel disease that affects the lining of the digestive tract, when he was around 18 years old. Davidson said he was prescribed multiple medicines to help ease the pain of the condition, but medical marijuana was the only thing that worked. He told High Times in 2016, "I'd smoke and I'd be able to eat and be able to do my shows. I wouldn't be able to do SNL if I didn't smoke weed. I wouldn't be able to do anything really. Me performing not high has gone awful." In 2016, he went to rehab because he had, quote, mental breakdowns. He told Mark Maron on the WTF podcast that he thought it was the weed, but that wasn't the case. The doctors in rehab thought he might be bipolar, so they prescribed him medicine to help treat it. Davidson said he weaned himself off the pills and continued to smoke weed instead. But that didn't help either. He then went to a psychiatrist and was diagnosed with and given medicine for borderline personality disorder. Pete Davidson is also well known for being covered in tattoos, but the reason he started getting tatted may not be why people think.
I cut my chest. That's why I started getting tats on my chest, is to cover them.
Davidson further explained on Charlamagne the God's podcast that it's like a release for him, especially when he's acting very manic and upset. As Davidson's movie career started to take off, he found himself spending extra time in the makeup chair to cover his tattoos. In 2021, he made the decision to eventually get them all removed. He told Seth Meyers that the process isn't only painful because they're burning his skin, but also because his doctor audibly describes each tattoo to make sure he wants it removed. He shared, "All of a sudden I'll just hear, Are we keeping the Stewie Griffin smoking the blunt?
And then I have to sit there and be like, no, Dr. G. And he's like, all right.
While Pete Davidson said he does do drugs, a lot of his rehab stints are to get his head right and find the proper dose of medication. He said,
I don't think going to rehab is that big of a deal. I think it's like a really strong, powerful thing, and some of the most beautiful, cool people you ever meet are there.
In addition, the comedian said he has a good group of friends around him that aren't afraid to tell him when it's time to seek treatment. As Davidson explained, we're at a point where people will come over and be like, hey, we're all pissed and terrified. Not pissed, but like, we're all terrified, so you should go. I got a good group around me. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please contact the crisis text line by texting HOME to 741-741. Call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI 6264 or visit the National Institute of Mental Health website.